Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Man, I'm really loving our new return music here. You know who this is, Ricky Bo? Little Warren G, Nate Dogg.
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
No.
I tried.
Warren G, Nate Dogg, Regulators.
Wind and Fire.
Come on now.
Did you know who it was?
Well, you know I don't know anything about music.
No, the two of you.
Oh,
man.
You guys are unbelievable.
All right, I'm going to give you some education. All right, so here's what we got coming up. A lot of people weighing in on the Phillies conversation. You still can. Are they good? Simple question. 610-632-0975. Send your text, send your voice memos for We Hear You coming up at 3:45 and 5:25. You could also weigh in on the Bryce Harper viral video of the way he brushes his teeth. Genius or insane with putting the toothpaste directly into his mouth? A lot of people think he might be smart. Would love to hear your opinion on it. But we got to, before we get to the Eagles, because I want to talk about the Eagles OTAs, Silvana said we had a retired dentist check in on the Davis Honda text line about the way Bryce Harper brushes his teeth. Is he on board with this?
No, the retired dentist said that is absolutely ridiculous for him to do.
Wow.
Unsanitary and ridiculous.
There it is. Ridiculous. Coming from a dentist.
Yep, retired dentist.
You think I'm going to go against them? No.
I actually worked for a dentist. I should have just texted my dentist and been like, how stupid is this from 1 to 10?
Hey, maybe he's on to something here. All right, let's talk.
Who's on to what?
Bryce Harper. Maybe he's on to it.
It's for clicks.
I don't think it was.
What the hell is it for?
It's the way he brushes his teeth. It's how he brushes his teeth. That's why I'm saying psycho
You're
or
going to
genius.
tell me he always
Maybe
brushed
both.
his teeth like that.
We have texts that say it's not an elite way of brushing your teeth.
It's not an elite way of brushing teeth. All right, we'll get back to the Phillies, I promise. But the Eagles also start OTAs today. In fact, the Eagles just emailed us to let us know the schedule for tomorrow. You're going to be able to hear from some people. Nick Sirianni is set to speak tomorrow along with Jalen Hurts and some players. So we'll bring you anything relevant that they say tomorrow. But let's talk about what we're looking for at OTAs. So our friend Dave Zingaro put out a list today on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. 25 players that he's intrigued by at OTAs.
How many guys you figure are going to be at OTAs? 25?
I don't know. I mean, you have the whole team being looked at. But my question for you is, who do you want to see? Like, who do you want to hear when Andrew DiCecco calls us up and checks in after watching OTAs tomorrow? What's the first player you're asking him about? Because I have one in mind.
Oh, I would probably say, well, I don't know if they do positions like that. Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Is he on the list?
He is on Dave Zingaro's list. So hold on, Hollywood Brown. Let me see what our boy Dave Zingaro says. He says Marquise Hollywood Brown has had a steady career after being selected in the first round of the 2019 draft out of Oklahoma. He's had some injuries in his career, but even last year he caught 49 passes for 587 yards and 5 TDs with the Chiefs. The Eagles are hoping Brown will bring the speed element to their offense, and that should show up in practice in May. I'm right there with you with regard to the position, but I want to see the rookie, Mekhi Lemon. I want to see if Mekhi Lemon looks like he belongs on the field with all the other NFL players. That's who I want to hear about. Now, I wonder, what can they do in OTAs? Let me look this up. What is permitted? Are they allowed to do one-on-ones?
I would assume.
Because if they could do one-on-ones, let's see. No. So they're allowed to do, they're allowed to do 11-on-11, 9-on-7, and 7-on-7. Team periods are allowed.
No one-on-ones.
So I'm not seeing
All
any
right, here's
one-on-ones.
one. Here's one for you. He has to be on the list. Drew Makuba.
Yeah. Is he healthy enough? I don't know if he's participating. Is Makuba back? That's a big question right there in of itself. So here's what he says about Makuba, our man Dave Zingaro. Hopefully, he'll be on the field for spring practice. So we don't know because he did have that bad injury.
Here's one for you. A.J. Brown.
No way he's there. Right? No way. Is anyone expecting him to be there?
I got to tell you something.
No.
I would be ecstatic if I find out that he was there. I know he can't be, but this would be great.
Now, tomorrow when Sirianni meets with the media.
But let me ask you a question. He has every right to be there.
Oh, yeah, he could show up if he wants. But tomorrow at 11:40,
do you think Howie called and said, please don't show up?
when Nick Sirianni meets with the media, I know they didn't ask Sean Mannion any questions about AJ, but you would have to think Sirianni has to answer the question.
Where's
Do you
AJ?
expect AJ to be here? Yeah. Do you expect AJ to be on the practice field?
You would baffle him.
If he says yes, AJ's here. No way. AJ's not here. There's no way.
I think if I was AJ Brown, I would go.
What if he gets hurt?
Why would
Nick's
he go?
Nick's is the trade.
You don't have to do anything. I would just go.
Oh, show up and he has an ankle injury that keeps him out.
Yeah.
I don't think he shows up.
Why would he show up?
Why are you laughing at me?
Because it would be wild if he shows up.
I would love the drama.
If he shows up, oh man, I don't know. Now you got me on the fence.
I'm just saying, I think it would be great if he showed up just out of the. Imagine if they were not expecting him. Like you're thinking to yourself, well, he's getting traded. He's not going to be. He's here.
AJ Brown.
Then what? Like, what if he wanted to run through the practices with them?
There's no way, man.
What would you do?
Well,
you can't not.
So remember, OTAs are voluntary.
Right.
So it's not mandatory until they do mandatory minicamp June 9th and 10th. And I think the trade will be done before that.
I understand that, but I don't know. I think if I was A.J. Brown, just to kind of say, look, I'm still an Eagle, I would show up.
All right, so here's what's permitted.
Although he did just get married.
He did. So that could be the excuse. He's still on his honeymoon. They took a long vacation somewhere. All right, so what is permitted for OTAs? 11-on-11, 9-on-7, and 7-on-7 team periods. No contact. It's helmets, and you can wear protective knee and elbow pads, but no shoulder pads. So there's no shoulder pads going. No tackling, no hitting, no full contact drills, and one-on-one battles are strictly forbidden. Because that's what I'm looking forward to.
One-on-one becomes physical. That's why. This is all non-physical activity.
But I really want to see.
They should just call it a non-physical camp.
Yeah, instead of organized team activities is what OTAs. Oh, formal. But I'm looking forward eventually when they can do it. Mekhi Lemon versus Quinyon Mitchell one-on-one.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That's going to be fun to watch. All right, but as OTAs start, it brings up all the questions that we have for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, what would you say is the biggest question facing the 2026 Philadelphia Eagles this offseason?
Safety.
Safety is the position
I
you're
think
worried
safety. We know in base that Cooper DeJean's going to slide back there, but they're hardly ever in base. So, yeah, safety would be a big question mark for me. And I guess offensively, I'm going to stick to this because it was a big thing last year, and I think I'm going to go right back to it. How physical will the offensive line be? If they're not physical, they're not going to succeed.
I have it written down right here. You stole it from me. I'm right there with you.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't even know. No, you didn't even know. I'm right there with you. No matter what Sean Mannion does, no matter how well Jalen Hurts adapts to the offense, if the offensive line is what it was last year, none of it's going to matter.
No, you need them healthy, number one. Number two, I think number one, I think Juergens is a year plus off of the back problems. So hopefully he's going to be 100% coming in because you don't need your center less than 100%. I guess my real theory would look at Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson. And I want to see in their age bracket how they're feeling, how they are as close to 100% as they can get. If those two guys come in at 100%, yeah, they're going to wheel and deal.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Because I truly believe because they were probably at about 70% last year, and I would say as a whole for the year, I would say 70%, and I think I'm giving them a pat on the back to say 70%. That is the reason why the run game wasn't what it was the year before also.
Yeah, now it's the biggest question outside of the scheme adjustments has to be the health of the offensive line. I mean, it absolutely has to be the biggest question this team's facing outside of scheme. And then, the next one is, how does Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion, how do they work together? What does Jalen Hurts do with this new style of offense? It is an exciting offseason because you're hoping that it's not going to look the same.
And I guess there are question marks that, offensively, you go with the offensive line. The next question mark would obviously be wide receiver 2 and 3. Who's going to play where? Can Lemon be the guy this year? I mean, he's going to get playing time, but can he be that guy this year? which is a bigger question. So that will go right into that. But I think defensively, the one thing that we're going to be looking at is the safety position.
Yeah, it's a big one. I'm excited about corner, what Tariq Woolen's going to do. I mean, he was a big addition this offseason.
You got Grenard as edge. So
the edge rusher room could be really good.
It turned around. Yeah, it turned around with that one big move.
Yeah, I mean, you got Grenard. You got to hope Nolan Smith. I mean, we didn't really get into a lot of it. I mean, the off-field stuff with the speeding, not ideal. Not ideal if you missed it.
It's not. He's probably not going to go to jail. Right?
No, he's not. But he did get arrested in Georgia. What was he doing? 130? Is that what it was?
135 and a 70. I think it was.
It was like 135,
which is wild considering
that is hauling ass.
But if you know the history of Nolan Smith being on the Georgia Bulldogs, where Jalen Carter had his issues with the drag racing, where unfortunately people died. Team members and coaches.
What is up with the University of Georgia guys and the speed?
So you be careful, man. Be careful. Speaking of which, as we're talking about that.
By the way, I got to say
Hold on one sec. I was going to say, both of you are going to watch. I just want to let our audience know. They may want to watch. The Crash, the documentary on Netflix. Ricky and Silvana have not watched it yet, so I can't give you my opinions. I put out a tweet this weekend about it. A lot of people have seen this documentary on Netflix. Ricky and Silvana are going to try to watch it tonight. So that we could Ricky is. Silvana's not watching.
I got a Summer House finale.
So that we can talk about it tomorrow because I have very strong opinions. My wife called me a lawyer nerd because I look at it from a lawyer's perspective, but I have a very strong opinion about The Crash. We'll get into that tomorrow. Sorry, what were you saying?
We were talking about driving.
Yeah.
They got to do something about 476, the Blue Route.
A mess?
No. The other night I was driving home and it was raining. You cannot see lanes. Literally, and I asked other people that took the same route. You cannot see the lane dividers. There are no reflectors
because of the rain.
Everything looks just dark.
Same.
Yeah, and there's no lights. So, and I'm behind the guy going like 14 miles an hour because he can't see anything.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
Well, I drive the route a lot, so I know where the turns are, and I know when where the lanes are. This guy had no clue, and I'm like looking out, and I could not see the lanes for about 10 miles.
There should be some sort of reflector.
Was that the night it took you like 4 hours to get home from the game?
No, that was I call that the perfect storm day. That was the day it was a day game. I came on with you after, and then I drove home. So it was rush hour, Phillies traffic leaving, and nasty storms coming in.
Yeah, 4 hours. By the way, it's about 100 degrees in here. I see the thermostat. I see what you did. I'm wondering why I'm sweating in here. He does it all the time. He turns it up to like 95. All right, let's get back to the Eagles. As we turn, he's going over to lower. Thank you.
Now he's got.
I literally feel like my ears are on fire. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Armpits, like he's showing.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here, man. All right, so back to the Eagles though. As we look at
who wears a dress shirt with shorts is beyond me.
It's a very thin. Well, people can't see below the waist, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't understand.
It's like on a Zoom call. People can't see below the waist.
I don't know.
This works. Hold on.
Looks sloppy.
I mean, it
works.
I mean, it's like what?
You can wear.
I thought
you
he was
wear
just
shorts.
turning them to. I thought you were just turning to show your butt.
No,
I was like, why is he turning around?
It works. All right, Philadelphia Eagles back on the practice field. OTAs. We're looking at the biggest questions. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I know you haven't looked. What do you think their odds are right now to get out of the NFC and represent in the Super Bowl? To win the NFC championship? Where do you think they are?
Definitely a plus. I'm going to go plus 650.
It's higher. But where do you think they rank? How many teams do you think are in front of them?
Plus 1,100?
They're a plus 950 to represent the NFC.
That seems awfully high to me. I would say that's probably a good time to bet them.
How many teams do you think are ahead of them?
The Rams.
Correct. The Rams have the best odds at a plus 390.
All right, let's go Rams. Let's go Packers.
Incorrect. The Packers are a plus
Bears.
1,000. Incorrect.
Seattle.
Correct. Seattle has the second best
49ers.
odds. Yep. So all NFC West teams.
Well, number one, how could they all be ahead of them?
So you got the Rams plus 390, Seahawks plus 500, 49ers plus 800, and there's one more team in front of them. It's not the Bears, and it's not the Packers.
And it's certainly not a South team.
That would be correct. They're from the NFC North.
Oh, Detroit.
Detroit Lions are a plus 850. So the Eagles right now have the fifth best odds to win the NFC.
My odds are more correct.
Now
plus 750 would be right on schedule for that. Because there's no way you could have 3 Western teams in there because it can't happen.
So you going to put some money on it then? You getting good odds according to
950? Yeah, I'm putting some on it.
All right, where do you think? Wow, I like this. Mekhi Lemon right now has
Rookie of the year?
6th best odds to be offensive rookie of the year. 6th best. He's behind Jeremiah Love and Fernando Mendoza.
Well, I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but you don't know what his role is going to be right now. Is it going to be slot? Is it going to be the number 2 receiver on the outsides? You just don't know yet. I think he's going to end up in a slot.
It will be interesting. All right, so as we're talking about the Eagles, though, and we're going to give you a lot of updates tomorrow. It's open to the media tomorrow, OTAs, so that'll be the first time that the media gets their eyes on what this team looks like under Sean Mannion. We'll bring you a lot of updates tomorrow. We'll hear from Nick Sirianni, a lot of players, including Jalen Hurts. But one of the things that became abundantly clear when the NFL released their schedule last week is they're trying to take over every single day of the week. Like, we've talked about this. They play games on Thursdays. They play games on Fridays, on Saturdays, on Wednesdays. I mean, it's every single night of the week almost. Well, Jason Kelce became the latest to weigh in on this, and if he thinks it is a major problem what the NFL is doing. We'll get to that coming up right after this. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. All right, welcome back into Unfiltered. We're going to get back to the Phillies coming up shortly. We threw out the question to start the show about the Phillies. Are they good? Simple question. Are they a good team? Because now we've seen 54 games. They're 27-27. And I truly believe they are a below-average team, an average team at best, with just 2 elite pitchers. That might be enough to carry them to the postseason. Ricky Bo saying he can't say they're good because they're too inconsistent. But we'll get back to that conversation. You could weigh in, send in your texts and your voice memos to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. But before we get back to the Phils, Ricky, I want to talk about the NFL. Because when the schedule came out, I was upset that there was a Christmas Eve game. But when you look around, there are a lot of games on a lot of different days. No longer is it just Sundays and Monday nights. We all know about Thursday night football, but then they add in Fridays, they add in Wednesdays, there's Saturdays. Well, Jason Kelce on his New Heights podcast was the latest to weigh in on this. And he thinks there might be a problem with all these different days besides Sundays. Listen to this.
Sunday is the day of football, right? Outside of going to church in the morning, if you're still religious and you do that, Sunday is like where so many games happen. And that's what you grow up and you gear your entire week around watching football on Sunday. It's an institution at this point, the NFL playing games on Sunday. With every day that we keep adding in there, we're getting away from that just a little bit. And I worry that I think the game got big. One of the reasons it got so popular and big was because all of the game, it was an event. Sunday is the NFL, and everybody set their week apart to tune into their games that were happening on Sunday. And you're watching kind of all of them now take place across Sunday Ticket, right? I worry that we're getting away from that just a little bit by building too many of this.
You agree with Jason Kelce, Ricky?
No. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Jason Kelce does Monday Night Football.
Yeah, a little weird that he's the one coming out.
I don't care when it's played. I'm one of those people. You know what? For as long as I can remember now, because I can't remember back to the first time, I do remember as a kid it was Sunday and then one Monday Night Football game. That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it went from Sunday to Monday to Thursday. So what are we talking about here? And I will say this much. Thursday, Thanksgiving, always had games. Now, they have added an extra one, but they've always had that. What I think is a joke, the Black Friday, I don't understand that.
And you got Christmas Day now. Netflix has games on Christmas Day.
They just know people will tune in.
And Saturdays. Look,
people are going to tune in. I told you I'm going to try to get out to the Dallas game.
Yeah, you are going to try to go to that.
I'm going to work on some tickets for myself.
But here's my issue on why I agree with Jason Kelce a little bit. One of the beautiful things about the NFL is, yes, they owned Sundays. They literally owned the day of the week.
Sundays.
They do. But, and this kind of ties in with their desire to go to 18 games. I worry that when you start adding too many games to the schedule, and you start adding too many days of the week to the schedule, you lose where every game really matters, where it becomes like a appointment television where you have to watch these games because you live and die with each game. Each game matters on the schedule. And this goes hand in hand. It's not just putting them on all these days of the week. It's adding too many games where if they go to 18 games, does it end there? Do they try to go to 20? And now you start to dilute the product a little bit because the games don't matter as much?
I think you're already diluting the product a little bit because you keep expanding games. You keep going to more different situations. You keep going overseas. I think that does dilute some of the game. And you know what? In all reality, when they go to 2 bye weeks, it's going to be, I think it will be such a long season. I think people will start to tune away, not in.
Well, the problem is, and now this goes hand in hand.
What if you're a bad team and you got 5 games left?
And this goes hand in hand with having them on too many days of the week. We saw, I guess, was it last year where the Thursday night slate was just like terrible games every single week?
That was like 3 years ago. They stopped that, though. They started putting like rivalries up there.
Yeah.
They started putting like, and I heard this morning, I think it was Andrew or John brought up Seattle and like the Rams now on a Thursday night. Yeah, that's what you need. You know what it should be? It literally should be divisional night.
I would hate it.
Where the division plays each other. Like it would be Giants and Cowboys.
But the physical toll that football takes on the body, for you to put such a meaningful game where guys are only getting 3 days rest is criminal to me. There's a reason why the Thursday night product isn't as good usually as the Sunday product.
I understand what you're saying.
It's a physical sport. It's a quick turnaround.
I understand what you're saying. But I don't know. If you're going to put a game there, make it worth the while. Because people did start tuning out. I mean, I can remember there were like 6 or 7 really bad games in a row on a Thursday night. And it was prime, too, wasn't it? I believe it was prime when that was. I don't even know who has it now. Is
it's
it
still prime. Yeah, Thursday night's prime.
Yeah, I mean, they have to get a pick of the litter. I mean, when you really think about it, they're the ones putting up the money for these games, and you're giving them like a bad, like when let's just say the Broncos were bad going up against like the Arizona Cardinals or the Cardinals and Browns. I mean, why? And as a matter of fact, they went to those alternate uniforms. You remember?
They would do that. Yeah, you're right.
Because I do remember
the color rush.
I remember it was Tampa in the all creamsicle against somebody in all yellow.
Yeah, they were doing color rush jerseys on Thursday nights. But look, and maybe this is going to sound too, I don't want to use the word selfish, but about me. Me personally, when I look at
that would be all about you.
All about me. But I think there's other fans who feel this way. I love watching football. I absolutely love watching NFL games. And my wife knows because it was grandfathered in. Like Sundays, all day long, I'm on the couch watching football.
Mm-hmm.
Monday nights, I'm watching football. Thursday nights, I'm watching football. It's a hard sell when you have kids and a significant other to be like, oh, and I'm also watching football on Friday, and I'm watching football on Saturday.
You decided to get married for a second time, so whose fault is that?
What I'm saying is you got obligations.
That's not nice.
You know what? Everybody gets on me. I was joking. Love you, Bridget. Sorry, Bridget.
Bridget, you got to send in a voice memo again.
You just hear me say I love you, Bridget, so you can't do that.
I'm down on the Phillies.
All right, so, but really, it becomes difficult. Like when I say watering down the product, it's hard for most people to be able to tune in every single day of the week for a game.
I understand that. And it used to be like Saturdays were for college.
Yeah.
And Thursday nights used to be for college, if you remember.
Boise State, I always remember playing.
They would have like a big game. No, they used to have decent games on Thursday nights.
I just think they're going to make it very difficult for people to be tuned in to all the games. And maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't care.
I think that's one thing they do care about is that they want people watching. They want people to look. They're going to suck you in like they did with the Green Bay Eagles game on a Friday night for the opener. You don't think people were watching?
Yeah, because I guess the opposite argument to this is, well, if they didn't move these games to other nights of the week, you wouldn't be able to watch them anyway because they all be going on at the same time.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right? They would be all going on at the same time. But that's where Red Zone comes into play.
I still find that amazing that, like, baseball-wise, you could pretty much watch any game. Isn't that right?
Yeah, but with 162, you don't have to watch everyone because they all don't matter.
No, I mean, on any given night, like football, it's still like, oh, all these games are on at 1 o'clock. Now I have to go to a bar to watch them. And that's where the NFL actually loses money, if you really think about it. So now if you spread out dates, guess what happens? They're making money again.
Yeah, it's all about the shuttle.
It is. There's no doubt about it.
And look, teams are worth more than they've ever been. I just worry they start to dilute it. And I think Jason Kelce, even though it sounds a little hypocritical since he's on Monday Night Football, I do think he's right that Sunday NFL football has been such a tradition that what was the movie where they were talking about how the NFL literally owns a day of the week? What movie am I thinking of? Does anybody know?
I got to be like Any Given Sunday.
Hold on. Now I got to look that up.
Or was it Invincible?
What movie? The NFL literally owns a day of the week. I'm trying to remember now. Let me look that up. Because it's not What Movie Wednesday. That'll be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do?
I don't know. We got to figure out what we're doing for What Movie Wednesday. And, of course, nothing came up that the NFL literally owns a day of the week. Text in, please. Text in if you know what I'm talking about. What movie
Concussion?
Did they say that? Concussion. Good job. That's what just popped up on AI.
Yeah.
Yep, the quote you're looking for is from the 2015 biographical sports drama Concussion. Did you see that movie? It was about CTE.
Yeah, no.
I think I did once.
Doesn't sound like a happy movie to me.
It was not. It was a good movie,
all
though.
Movies,
no
the
happy
purpose
ending
is to
there.
make you happy.
Yeah, so the quote in that movie that they say to the doctor, Will Smith plays the doctor, and the quote is, "You're going to war with a corporation that owns a day of the week. The same day the church used to own, now it's theirs."
Yeah, I think
that's the quote.
I think I get it.
All right, but I am curious. If you got strong feelings, if you're okay with it, there are people out there, I'm sure, who are saying, give me NFL football 7 days a week. The more, the better. I just think you start to dilute the product, not only because it's too often, because of what it does to the players. Football is a sport where I think you need those 5 or 6 days rest. Like, it is a brutal, brutal sport. And they ask these guys to play 3 days rest. There's a reason why you see a worse product on Thursday nights, and you start adding all these different days in, you're going to see worse products. And it throws a monkey wrench into professional athletes' routine. And you know better than anyone, man. You were a creature of habit when you played, right? Like, you weren't getting thrown off. When you had a pitch, you wanted the same habit every day, didn't you?
I didn't care. I was a reliever. I'm screwed up as it is. So.
Yeah, you are. You're insane anyway.
I mean, that's if you are a reliever, you might as well be, because you never know what's going on. How would you like going to your job and never knowing when you're actually going to do your job?
Well, you were a closer, so at least you kind of knew.
Well, the
right?
closer did. That's why I told you. I said closing was the easiest job I ever had,
because you knew your role.
Well, back then it could have been 2 innings, but at least you knew when you had to be mentally prepared and mentally ready. The worst job, setting up. You just never knew. Especially like I had Francona as a manager. It would literally be 6th inning. Get Ricky going. What? Wait, time. No, I'm a late inning guy, not a middle inning guy.
So roles do matter in the pen.
Yes. Well, knowing your role does.
Well, you better know your role on this show, and that's just to agree with me, damn it.
I don't believe I've ever done that.
All right, seriously, let me ask you, as we're talking about closing. Joan Duran. Yeah. People are a little down on him.
Why?
I don't know. That's what I wanted to ask
you. He's not throwing a million miles an hour, and he's a little sketchy lately.
Yeah, and he gives up that home run on Friday night. But I literally, I've seen people kind of talking about how he's not as dominant as they make him out to be. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I think he is pretty dominant. I think he's got really good stuff. I just don't. Here's the thing. When you don't get in a groove, and sometimes you don't find a groove for a long time as a closer, you don't get in your groove, you're going to have some problems. And I think that's what he's kind of running into. I think he's the same way as Alvarado right now. Maybe he shouldn't be hanging around Alvarado.
Alvarado's rubbing off on him a little bit?
I don't know. Don't they remind you of one and the same, except for one's a lefty, one's a righty right now?
A little bit.
And I think Duran's got tremendous stuff. The one thing you got to do is just get back down to business. Don't be afraid of your fastball. You got a great fastball. He throws that 100-mile-an-hour sinker. Just throw it.
Well, he did close the door yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's a 3-run lead. That's a can of corn.
And then he closed the door on...
Yes, another 3-run lead.
Yeah, you're right. Both were 3 Saturday and then yesterday.
They're easy games to close.
But they bring him in 0-0 game, and he gives up a pinch hit home run.
Pitch hit home run. That was a little odd.
After Sanchez pitched a gem,
And but he didn't, here's the thing that's different this year. His location is not very good right now. And it hasn't been all year. He does have a bunch of saves, but you know what? When your location isn't there, it's not going to look as pretty as it normally did.
I know this is probably an unpopular opinion. I'm starting to be over the introduction, too. The whole entrance.
Why is that unpopular? Everybody's seen it 100,000 times.
Oh, it's just so over the top.
Here's the thing. I think they should just do it when he's in a closed situation.
Yeah, they do it for everything.
That would have been better off. When you start doing it for everything, it gets a little old. It gets a little stale quick. And watch, you know what they're going to do? They're going to add something to it, take something off. I'd be like, can you keep the lights on so I can see where I'm running?
Well, you know why they're not.
Because sooner or later, I'm going to catch a sprinkler head on the way in, and I'm going to go ass over tea kettle.
You know why they're not getting rid of it now.
Why?
Sponsored, man.
Oh, yeah, it is.
There's a sponsor. There's no way they're getting rid of that intro. All right. Are the Phillies good? That was the question we started the show with. I'm sure we got a lot of voice memos coming up answering that question. We hear you. Part 1 coming up right after this. Unfiltered continues. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Ooh, spooky.
We had spooky because they put it in that movie. Us. Remember that? All right, so we got We Hear You coming up, and the question we asked, are the Phillies a good team? Because we're sitting here now, they're a 500 team. We saw them take advantage of some below-average teams when Don Mattingly took over.
Yep.
And now they're up and down. The offense can't do much. The pitching is great. It's like, is this team good or not? And I have a feeling we got a lot of voice messages about this. But before we do We Hear You, Ricky Bo.
Yeah.
This was also the subject of our Twitter poll. Let's see what we got on the Twitter poll. Twitter poll still up?
It's still up.
Whoa, what just happened on those computer screens?
Dylan, we got some issues on the computer screen.
Vito's got it.
Vito's got it.
So the Twitter poll still up, always up, thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. What do we got?
Things have taken a turn for the worst. Are the Phillies good? Yes or no? 54% now saying no. 46% now saying yes.
Yeah, I'm voting no, and so is Ricky Bo. All right, let's see what they're saying on the voice messages.
Before you go, real quick, I just got this thing in the mail.
This is awesome.
I have to send back. I don't know if I should say the name of the person, but so I won't do that on air. But what's interesting enough is that I'm pointing out I got a little figurine.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Ricky Bottalico figure.
Yes, and they asked me to sign it and send it back, which I'm going to do. But something you didn't see and Sil didn't see, because this was also on there. Can you read what that says?
It says Zaprexia. That was when we April Fool's you.
It says Zaprexia.
Yeah, that thing is awesome, though. Hold on, can I take a closer look at this thing? So this is the Ricky Bottalico 1997 starting lineup.
It's literally the All-Star one. It comes
collectible.
Out.
Look at that, man.
How about that?
So some of these things didn't come out for a while.
This thing's awesome, dude.
And my daughter, they come out in special editions. So my daughter was probably like 3 or 4 at the time, and we were in right before Christmas in a Toys R Us at the time.
I don't want to grow up.
And I'm walking with my oldest daughter, and my other one, I'm like looking behind me. I could see her I could see her coming down the aisle, so she wasn't like lost. All of a sudden, I hear her screaming, like, "Dad, Dad, Dad!" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Look!" And it was me, like
as a figurine.
Things. Yeah, but it was. They come in different editions. That one was a starting lineup, whatever edition, and it came out in like 2004 or whatever year it was. And she was going ballistic.
That's awesome.
We have to buy them all. No, I said, no, we don't.
Do you have any of them at home?
My daughters do.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if not, we might not send that one back. We might keep that one.
That would not be too nice.
I'm only kidding.
Actually, that would be very rude.
It would be rude. Now, Ricky Bo gets a lot of fan mail.
But there's Zaprexia.
That's a good touch.
Keep that right here just to remind me.
That's a true listener.
Yeah,
we should have did that for the show.
Yeah, what did Ricky take for his...
we'll keep that stored in
hemorrhoids.
His issues.
You could say it, hemorrhoids.
Yeah, for his issues.
Yeah.
You mentioned Toys R Us real quick before we do We Hear You.
They're still open online.
Do you remember?
And I think they have little stores open, right?
I think they did bring them back, but there was nothing more disappointing as a kid when your parents would bring you to Kids R Us. because that was clothes. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I didn't like Kids
And
R
they
Us.
were next door to Toys R Us. So sometimes my mom would take me to Kids R Us.
Sometimes they were in the Toys R Us.
They were the
Like
one
they
I
had
used to go
the
to.
open door that you'd walk
It was the
into.
worst because you wanted to go to the toy store.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was all about the toys.
Yeah, the Toys R Us was the best.
Super duper double looper was my favorite. You don't even know what that is.
Was it Hot Wheels?
Yeah, no, it was where you would
shoot
Tyco ones where you actually go.
And the cars would go upside down and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. All right, let's get to We Hear You. Let's get to the voice messages. I'm
my
curious
bad.
if people are going to say the Phillies are good or not. Simple question. We Hear You, always brought to you by Rycore Heating and Cooling, your local experts for energy-efficient heat pumps, lower utility bills, and year-round comfort. Learn more at RycoreHVAC.com or call 1-855-MY-RYCORE. Start saving today. Rycore, we know how. All right, let's get them.
Are the Phillies good as a whole? No. Parts of them are good. The reliever's good. Starting pitching's good. But they can't be good with bats that are inconsistent. 3 in particular that go cold that have contracts totaling $750 million. It lights a fire under me that Bryce Harper's talked more about for his semantics on TikTok than he is for his fielding or his leadership. I can't really talk about his bat, though, because he has been hitting to his standards. But are the Phillies good? No.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff in there. Look, I think Bryce Harper's pulling his weight. I mean, I don't know when he talks about leadership. I mean, what can Bryce Harper do? He can't get the right-handed bats hitting in the lineup. I mean, that's not on Bryce Harper. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing Bryce could do. There's only so far you could carry a team. Bryce has been very good. I have nothing against what he has done. I mean, I know Schwarber's batting average is low, but you know what? He's hitting 21 home runs this early in the year. Be nice to have Trey Turner on base. Would be. I mean, think about this. If Trey was actually hitting, how many RBIs does Schwarber have right now?
Yeah, like when we were talking about how the Phillies' run production is in the bottom of Major League Baseball, 22nd. Could you imagine, if Trey Turner had a normal OBP.
By the way, we're getting yelled at for getting on Trey Turner. I got yelled at on Twitter for getting on Trey Turner because he was the batting champ last year. Well, where the hell is that guy? That's exactly what I'm asking. Where is he?
Why do people have to feel the need to defend players when they aren't living up to what you're expecting? Are we losing the sight of the real goal right now?
I mean, did I think Trey Turner would be a 221 hitter third of the way through the season?
You're not saying he was a bad player. This is streaking his whole career. You're saying right now he's not good enough.
And the irony of the whole situation, why we're getting on him, is because he is supposed to be better than that. And we know that he could put up better numbers than that. So the question becomes, why isn't he?
Oh, it's a good question. And because he's not getting on base, he's not able to use his speed on the base paths. I mean, he's got 9 stolen bases all season.
Yeah. So where is he?
He's not scoring runs. He's got to get going. All right, what else we got?
The Phillies are not good. They refuse for 3-4 years now to get a right-handed power hitter to fix the lineup. What's going on? They're not good enough.
Here's the problem.
There are no.
I'm down on the Phillies.
They've tried to get the right-handed power bat. They just keep getting it wrong. Adolis Garcia. I mean, Max Kepler was lefty, but they were trying to use him in that role. Austin Hayes, Whit Merrifield. They've tried to get the right-handed bats right. They just keep getting it wrong. And Adolis Garcia is a guy where we were hoping you'd get the 2023 version. You're not even getting last year's version from him.
Yeah. Ifs and buts.
Although he did walk in a run.
I'm just saying ifs and buts. That's what you were hoping in that situation. Dave Dombrowski is now like 0 for 8 on these guys.
Dombrowski's got a lot more swings and misses than he does home runs in what he's done.
Well, especially with the right-handed hitters in the outfield, that's an offer.
The JT contract's looking like a big miss. The Aaron Nola's contract's looking like a big miss.
Well, yes, but don't do that yet with JT. JT was banged up early in the season.
All right, I'm holding out hope.
You hope he could kind of recover. I don't know how bad. You think about how many times has he been hitting that foot?
But, dude, when your right-handed hitters are hitting 202 as a collective,
that's a problem.
Big problem.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the right-handed hitters right now suck. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they do suck. I mean, that's a good way to put it. All right, let's get one more in.
Question 1, are the Phillies a good team? No. If you look at the starting lineup, they've got 2, maybe 2.5 guys, 3 guys at best I would even want to keep on my team, let alone my regular everyday lineup. So, no, they're not good. And as far as the brushing the teeth goes, doesn't anyone use battery-operated toothbrush, where all you need is a dab on the round bristles. And if you wet the bristles first and then put the toothpaste on, your toothpaste is wet and it never falls off. Bryce Harper, the way you brush your teeth is about as effective as you pulling down and in pitches to second base and grounding out 3 times a night. Oh.
How about that?
I do use an electric toothbrush.
I do too.
That's
Life
the way to go.
changing.
But I already said I quit on this conversation. So.
Yeah, so if you missed it, that was in relation to Bryce Harper squeezing the toothpaste into his mouth first and then brushing. Very weird way to do it.
It is. This whole thing, it's not even just the toothpaste thing. It's everything. The food that he makes on there, everything.
But the fact that he's even posting brushing your teeth is weird.
He just knows that people will jump on it. When he needs attention, he just throws one of those out there.
We had a text earlier that was like, remember when Bryce Harper said that it was time for the younger guys to grow up enough with like the daycare stuff? And one of the texters was like, well, he's the one now who's like posting almost every day all the time. Wouldn't you think that he should be the one that's like, oh, got to be more focused?
Why does he, if you were making $30 million a year, would you be posting?
Oh, it's all about your NIL, man. Your name, image, and likeness. Maximize it. But look, I've ripped Harper when it's time to. I have no problem with anything Bryce Harper does off the field.
Yeah, Ricky's pretty good.
Because he's producing on the field. Like, Bryce Harper is doing everything we wanted him to do.
He's playing good baseball. I have nothing. This is the last thing I wanted to come in and talk about him and his talking his ticks.
I don't know what that is.
That was such a dad comment.
Oh, you're his TikTok.
I did it on purpose. Nice try, though.
Do you have TikTok?
I don't even know.
What do you mean you don't know?
There's probably some fake Ricky
It's
Bowe
literally, I had Instagram for years and didn't know.
What do you mean?
You could still weigh in on that conversation.
Because I don't care. I'm not attached to it like everybody else is. I could care less.
You either have it on the phone with an account or no.
Bryce is lucky that I'm not like the person that people would follow to it because I would never get there.
He's an influencer. All right, but look, I want people to weigh in.
What is he influencing?
People.
What? Like who? Followers? Yeah. Followers. Remember that. Be a follower.
Guess what followers
What were we
equal?
told when we were small?
Well, Bryce is being a leader. That's what Bryce is
not
being.
A follower.
Followers equal dollars on social media. So that's what Bryce is doing. I don't fault him for it.
Keep giving him more money.
I don't fault him. All right, so you can weigh in, though. Are the Phillies good? Send your text, send your voice memo. 610-632-0975. Coming up next, a little Gimme More at 4 with Silvana. And how about this, Ricky Bowe? The USA Today put out their list of the top 10 NFL cities. Where did Philly rank?
I'll guess at number 1.
We will get that coming up next. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.